people in here very shortly because
I submitted it.
there should be about 22 people. Yeah. Where did Kelly go? Where is
Margie, you don't have a presentation, right? A PowerPoint or anything?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you know how to share that?
Yes, I just click the share screen.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, you got it. Yep, that's it.
perfect?
You did it?
All right, let me share that now.
Okay.
Let me know if it works.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. It's the right one.
Marjorie's right there. You can say hello to her right there. No, right here.
She can't see you over there, Goofy.
Right here.
She saw your tie.
She's on my time.
Yes. It's better that way, Margie.
Who is that?
It was Nathan Ives. It's better to see just his tie.
When I share my screen, there's not, the PowerPoint that I'm on doesn't come up.
All right, we're going to make the lights
Victoria?
down a little bit. Kelly, why are you hiding?
Oh, my word.
Is that better?
If it's not working, something you might want to try to do is open it up in Google Drive.
Thank you for
Okay.
So upload. Do you know how to use Google Drive?
Yes.
Okay, so upload it to Google Drive,
He was down there.
Okay.
He's gonna come.
and it should work.
I caught him in the hallway.
Okay, I already told Hannah what they have prepared when she goes with you Friday. What do you have to do, Hannah?
Windshield fluid, prayer walking.
In case you have to push it.
And prayer meetings.
Oh.
I know that's
I'll add that to the list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Aha.
It works.
Yes. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I can't see myself anymore, so I'm talking to my computer now, which is kind of weird, but that's all right.
Do you want to welcome me?
Sure. Yeah.
Hi, snack. Hi, Marjorie.
Hi.
Okay, so Marjorie Lewis, oh my goodness, are you 2011?
Yes.
Oh my word, time flies. Marjorie.
Right?
Yeah, my third development course. She's an amazing girl who we have put together a really comprehensive job search plan. She did an incredible job landing the opportunities that she had hoped for. Very good success story to listen to. So why don't we welcome her here at Stores.
Thank you guys. So I'm going to start with a quick overview of myself. That's not what I was looking for. Oh, I go down. Okay. So a little about me. So these slides did not upload right. But that's all right. They're blank. I can fill them in for you. So I started my first internship at MassMutual in 2010. So that would be my sophomore year. So I graduated UConn 2011, but I graduated early. So I kind of cheated the system and shaved off a little bit, which was great for my career because I was able to apply for jobs in January and December when most people apply for jobs in May and June. So I was in a different applicant pool, which really helped my opportunities. So 2010, I quickly started off in MassMutual. I was just doing some temp work, filing. It was just my first corporate job. Out of school, it was just great to get some learnings, what it's like to work in a corporation, how the structure works. That summer, I also did a sales internship on the side for Campus Yellow Pages. which I'm not sure if it's still at UConn, but it's kind of the big book that has all the coupons in it for all the local businesses. So I did some quick sales work there. 2011, I got my first kind of real internship at Honest Tea, which is owned by Coca-Cola. So I was a road warrior there, which is kind of like a brand ambassador. So I traveled all over New England, going to festivals, fairs, grocery stores, showcasing the product, telling consumers all about it, giving out samples, that type of stuff. So that was really interesting and fun. And that summer I also worked at Pinkberry, which is right in Boston. And I worked for an entrepreneur who owns now all of the stores in Connecticut, Boston, Vermont, and New York. So I kind of helped him run the stores. I helped him look for new real estate opportunities. I put together some marketing programs for him. And then through those kind of experiences, I was able to land my first job at Tribe Hummus in 2012. Started off as a marketing assistant. I worked in consumer services, so I was answering the phones for our hotline number. I was answering emails. I ran the social media pages, and I developed some point-of-sale material for our salespeople, so danglers, coupons, sell sheets, stuff like that. 2013, so last year, I was kind of promoted to more of a senior marketing assistant role. So I transitioned off of consumer services, so I didn't have to do the nose to the grindstone work of answering phone calls and emails anymore, and I was more put on brand strategy and innovation and kind of learning the ins and outs of the business. And this year, I'm moved up into more of a senior role as an assistant brand manager, so I have control more over the brand. I work a lot on strategy, I run campaigns, and I launch new products. So if you have more questions about that, we can kind of delve into it a little later. I lost my screen. Quick overview of what I'm going to go through with you guys today. How to market yourself, getting internships, marketing careers, the different types, job searching, networking, career paths, and then we'll do some Q&A. So first thing, marketing yourself. You can't kind of be in marketing without knowing how to market your own self. It's very important. I've learned there's some great buzzwords of the industry that people like to have. They like to know that you have these words and you're capable of doing these things. So some things like leadership, you're creative, you're a good team worker, you have great analytical skills, which is actually super important in marketing. So please take those finance and accounting courses seriously. They really help in the long term. You're a good, clear communicator. You always work with cross-functional teams, and you're always communicating with sales, customers, consumers. So it's really important that you kind of have these skills. They're in the back of your mind. You're always looking to acquire and develop these skills, and you can do that through not just jobs, but through projects, out-of-school activities, sports, pretty much anywhere you can gain these experiences. It doesn't have to be through jobs. So what I recommend is kind of creating a checklist and being honest of what your strengths and weaknesses are. Asking yourself, what are you missing? So if it's leadership or if it's communication skills, maybe you can take a public speaking class. Maybe you can just be more aggressive in team projects and kind of take the leads. Just trying to get some more background and experience. What activities and clubs can you join? Programs, jobs to help you gain the skills you need. So kind of just making sure you're aware of what you have and what you're lacking and how to fill in those gaps. It's kind of the first, just building the backbone of your marketing career, I guess. So next is internships. So as I'm sure you guys are all aware, there's tons of different types of internships. There's paid internships, unpaid internships, full-time, part-time. The goal of internships is really just to create as much relevant experience as you can to build your marketing skills you need for your first job. And that's anything from, if you work at a restaurant, you can create an internship by saying, hey, can I run your social media page? Or if they don't have a Facebook or a Twitter, can I build a social media page for you? Can I create a loyalty program for you? Just be creative. It doesn't have to be a formal internship. Just try to get as much relevant experience as you can. Even if it's unpaid, honestly, the more experience you can get, the better. I know unpaid internships are hard, and it's not a great thing, but It's a lot better than getting nothing. So how to get an internship. This is something I'm sure most of you struggle with. There's not a lot of marketing internships, but as I'll say again, really any internship is good experience. So whether it's just working at an insurance company to kind of learn the ins and outs of corporate life, kind of how structure works, just kind of going to the 9-to-5 job, anything is better than nothing. There are companies that'll hire internships and offer entry-level jobs more so than others. Typically, they're larger firms. Ad agencies hire a lot of internships and entry-level jobs. So they have tons of account executives, marketing associates, kind of entry-level positions that they're looking to fill all the time. Market research is another great place people don't think to look. You can gain some great analytical skills that a lot of people don't have. So if you kind of get an internship in market research, it kind of sets you apart from the crowd, which is pretty cool. And PR, I know it's not, some people really like PR and some people don't like it, but it's just great to have kind of all those sets of skills. So if you're kind of looking for an internship and don't know where to start, kind of go with the bigger companies, try to see what you can get and just get what you can and just keep going. And this may not be what you want to do at first, but just remember it's going to help you build all those skills you need for getting the first job you want. Now, what can you do with marketing? So there's a ton of different avenues and paths you can go on. I took the consumer goods route, and I kind of wanted to go into branding. I knew I wanted to work on a brand, so I was very specific. But there's tons of other avenues. You can work for an advertising company, so like an ad agency. You can work for a social media company. You can work in website. You can do creative work. So we work with a bunch of different agencies. One of our agencies helps develop all of our point of sale materials. So there's an account executive who I talk with every day, and she's kind of the liaison between me and the creative person, and her job is a marketing account executive. So there's that role. It's just communicating between the client and the creative. There's research, so whether it's doing market research or it's pulling data from stores to kind of assess how your products are doing it and then relaying it to the brand team so they can figure out what's going on with their brand and how the market is, kind of seeing how everything's going. There's sales, which is one of the obvious routes that a lot of people take going out of college. Great experience. Sometimes it's not so glamorous, but it is very good experience, and it's great communication skills that you build, I think, with sales. And I think even if you don't like it, I think everyone should try at least an internship in sales or take an interview for a sales job. You never know if you like it or not. And then there's a bunch of other market careers that I can talk about. Promotion, public relations, product placements. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down, so I wouldn't limit yourself too much. So I wanted to give you guys an example of kind of what my company looks like. A lot of companies are structured a little differently, but I think this is pretty much the backbone of most consumer product goods companies. So we have our CEO, who's kind of sitting at the top. He plays a dual role of CEO and CMO. We used to have a chief marketing officer, and I think we should get one soon, but who knows? They've been without one for 2 years now. We have the brand manager, who's my direct boss, and she is in charge of everything with the brand, from what products in our portfolio, how we spend our money every year, getting into new accounts, going to customer presentations, doing strategy work, doing research work, all of that. So I work for her as the assistant brand manager. And then we have someone in consumer relations who manages the hotline, kind of keeps all the customers who complain about our products happy, which is great. She sends them coupons. She's super friendly. She tells people where to buy our products when they can't find it. So it's kind of on the brand side. On the sales side, there's a lot of actually interesting marketing roles that I didn't even know existed until I got to this company. So we have the VP of sales, and then under him we have a consumer insights manager, and she works with a company called Nielsen, and she pulls all of our data, store-level data, and she kind of deep dives into some of the cooler things like how our velocity is doing at shelf, points of distribution, how our sales are in terms of competitors, how many units we're selling, all that stuff. So she kind of analyzes the product at the store level, and then she relays all the information back to us, and we kind of figure out what to do with it. So if our price is out of whack or something, she'll send us a red flag like, hey, we're getting very expensive, that's not our strategy, we should be fixing this, stuff like that. We have a trade marketing manager who's kind of the liaison between sales and marketing, which is a very cool role. He works on more account-specific marketing, so if you see flyers for Stop and Shop and Big Y and kind of the coupons in there, he takes care of all of that. And he also runs promotions at accounts. So when you see at Big Y something is 10 for $10, he sets up all of those and kind of manages how they're doing and putting more in place. And then, of course, we have all of the regional sales reps. So we have one sales rep for every region. And then we have a forecast and demand planner who helps the sales reps figure out how much we're going to sell that month at that store and how many cases our factory needs to plan for to create. So there's a lot of different marketing roles that you can do aside from kind of brand management and sales. All right, getting to more of the meat potatoes of this presentation. So job searching. I know it's overwhelming for a lot of people, so I kind of tried to break it down into 6 different parts. So the first step for job searching, whether it's an internship or your first entry-level job, is marketing yourself. So going back up to the beginning of the presentation and using those buzzwords and creating real-life examples that showcase those words. So when you're in an interview, I'm sure someone's going to ask you, can you demonstrate a time when you were a leader? Can you demonstrate a time when you used your analytical skills to figure out a problem or solve something? So I kind of gave you an example of how my work reflects all of these buzzwords. So I'll run through them quickly with you guys. Leadership. So I facilitate all cross-functional team meetings to manage projects and keep timelines on track. So what that means is the cross-functional team would be the head of sales, our product engineer, our factoring manager, who else? Sales, engineers, marketing. And we kind of all get together and see, you know, if we're launching a new project or we're launching a new product, how that's going, what we need to do, keeping everything on track, making sure customers have things on time. In terms of creativity, I developed the innovation pipeline for our products, which is pretty cool. So right now I'm working on our 2015 and 2016 pipeline. So thinking of new flavors, new platforms, keeping all this into consideration with our consumer insights, so making sure it's right for our consumer and what they want. Teamwork, I work directly with our brand manager and CEO, and right now we're trying to develop our brand strategy for next year, and we're working on creating a long-term vision for the company. So we've actually hired a marketing research firm out of LA to help us frame up our strategy and get together kind of like a brand essence and who we are and what we want to stand for. So that's exciting. It's a project we're working on right now. In terms of analytical skills, there's a lot of analytical skills that you need as a marketer that you may not realize. So I manage our budget, which is around $5 million. It's not large. I know it sounds kind of big, but most companies are managing like $100 million budgets. But it's a good start. I do a lot of calculations on return on investments on marketing programs. So whenever we're doing a new program at an account, we kind of want to see what we spent and how many units we sold and see what the conversion was for that. And I manage our product portfolio costs, so making sure all of our new innovation items we launch are in line with profitability. And then clear communication is always a good skill that you need. So I always managing and communicating the launch of new products, making sure internally and externally we have entry and exit plans so customers in our factory know when to get rid of goods and know when to kind of decrease inventory. So marketing yourself, number 1. Number 2 is doing your research. So it's great if you already know what to do. Most people don't, which is totally fine. So I always recommend just going online and starting to Google things. Looking up entry-level marketing roles and reading the description is a great way to kind of get a feel for what roles you like and what you think line up with your skills. So I kind of made a chart of some entry-level marketing titles. There's marketing coordinators, marketing analysis, marketing specialists, account executive, account manager. So you can kind of just take these words and put them into Indeed, LinkedIn, really any of those search engines, and just see what comes up and get a feel for the description and what skills you'll need to build to kind of be ready for those jobs. So 2, do your research. Number 3 is try to narrow your search. So I wrote down a couple questions to help you guys get started. So ask yourself, the first thing is, are you willing to move? Do you want to stay in Connecticut? Do you want to move to Boston, New York, LA? You know, the U.S. is kind of a big country, so narrowing your search will help you a lot. And then ask yourself, is there a specific industry you want to work in? So do you want to work for a brand? Do you want to work for an agency, PR, market research? The more specific you get, it'll be easier in your job search. So I kind of wrote down an example of what my outline looked like. I wanted to move to Boston. I knew that was for sure. And I knew I wanted to work in consumer goods, specifically in the health, food, and beverage space, which is a very narrow industry. So I got pretty lucky, but it was easier when I was more specific. So number 4, once you kind of have 2 and 3 done, and you kind of narrow your search, and you know where you want to live, what industry you're going to work in, go back and do more research. So research and make a list of companies in the geographic area that interest you. Try not to narrow it too much and aim for 20 to 50 companies. So say, for example, you're looking for ad agencies in New York. There are 200, 300 ad agencies in New York. Try to aim for about 20 or 50, not to overwhelm yourself. And then from there, you want to kind of create a spreadsheet to get yourself organized. It'll help a lot with your job searching, and it'll help you be accountable of where you are. So these are the kind of horizontal axes of stuff you want to put down in your spreadsheet. So company name, type of company, size. So is it mid-size? Is it large? Is it small? Is it a startup? Where is it located? And then contacts. This is a big one. So do you know anyone at that company? Use LinkedIn to kind of Google that company and see if you have any second, third degree connections, and then write those names down. And then go on their website and see if they have any job openings. If they do, apply for them. If there's internships, apply for them. And then leave a section for comments.
Marjorie,
And then
Marjorie,
Yeah.
I just want you to know that your spreadsheet is still being used as the example in BADM.
Oh, awesome. It's so helpful, honestly. It helps you become more accountable of yourself. We'll get there in career path, but I still have one, and it's great even for long-term goals, keeping yourself accountable.
Right.
So that's number 5. We were research, create a spreadsheet, and then networking. So take that spreadsheet of 20 to 50 companies and try to fill it out. So use LinkedIn, ask your relatives, ask your peers. You never know, your best friend's mom could work for that company. Once you kind of do that and you kind of see if you know or who you don't know, contact the HR department and ask for an informational interview. This is how I found one of my main mentors. I actually contacted the HR department of Food Should Taste Good, which was a Boston-based company. And they said they didn't have any openings at the time, but the guy was just willing to talk to me about the company and how he got his career started. And I kind of kept that relationship going. And it kind of led to where I am today. So you never know. Just contact, reach out, see what you can do. And then the last one I put is actually very important. Don't be shy. Just reach out to employees at a company, even if you don't know them. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're looking at a company and you're like, oh, that person's a brand manager at Puma. That's an amazing career. I wonder how she got there. just send her an inbox. Don't be shy. Just proposition it, saying, you know, I'm a college student. I'm really interested in how you got to where you were. I'd be wondering if you could give me 5 minutes of your time to kind of talk me through your career and give me any advice. Just whatever you do, don't ask if there is a job opening. Just make it all about them and kind of getting to know them and how they got to where they were. I promise you they will be willing to help anyone out, and I'm always willing to just talk to people. I may not have jobs for people, but getting just the first step is just talking to people and getting them in your network. And you never know, a year later they could remember you and say, oh, I talked to this college student a while ago. I wonder if he has a job. If not, I have a great opening I think you can get for. So just starting to build your network with however you can. And the last is kind of this long-term career path. So your first job may not be your ideal job. It could be sales, it could be working in an insurance company. It's all right, because everyone needs to start somewhere. You need to remember getting that dream job is not going to happen probably your first year, your second year, or your third year. It might be 5 years down the road, which is all right. But just keep your spreadsheet going and make yourself accountable for everything you do in your career. Make sure you know what your ideal job is and how you can get there and what skills you're lacking. So if it's leadership or creativity or maybe it's analytical, try to get a job in market research or try to get more analytical responsibility at the job that you're at so you're more well-rounded for the career you want to do. And then always network, network, and network. Even if you have the perfect job, I really encourage everyone to just get out there, go to networking events, stay in touch with people at UConn, friends, peers around you. There's always a bunch of seminars people are holding in the city, etc. So it's always great just to keep your network opening and keep it growing. And that's it. Some Q&A. It was a quick presentation. I was doing really fast.
Anybody have any questions?
You can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be about
Down here.
job searching, my time at UConn.
So she can see your face.
Okay.
Yeah. Here. There you go. Go ahead.
I was just wondering what you did in college that you think, like what extracurricular activities and stuff that you think best prepared you for what you're doing now or your future.
That's a great question. I kind of skipped that part, sorry. So I played club lacrosse at UConn, which actually really helped me get my first job. I was the president of the club lacrosse team, so I managed about 18 girls, which is a ton of work. So I had great leadership skills. I also managed our accounting book. So all of the money that we raised, all of the dues the girls paid, we kind of were accountable for all of that money. We had to pay referees. We had to set up travel. We had to make sure all the girls stayed safe and didn't get any trouble. And I coordinated all of our practices and schedules with other teams. So it was kind of a huge role I played at that position, which really helped gain a lot of those skills and those buzzwords I was talking about. So whether it's sports or joining a club, kind of making sure you have a senior leadership role, I think, is important.
Any other questions? Yeah, come on down so she can see your face. You don't want. Yeah.
Hello.
Marjorie girl. Okay.
Hi. How many people
Hi.
are in the tribe total?
So,
Your company.
Oh,
Yeah, like how many employees?
So I actually work at the factory, which is very unique. So I work directly where our hummus is manufactured. So in terms of salaried employees that kind of work full-time and work for the brand, there's probably about 35 of us. We're a very small team. There's 2 people in marketing, so it's really just myself and my boss. There's about 10 people in sales, 6 people in finance, 10 or so people in engineering and plant operations. And then there's our head of R&D, we have a nutritionist, and our CEO. So it's a pretty small company, which is great because I've been able to kind of do a lot of things, which is good.
Including living right near Newbury Street, right, in Boston.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You live right in Newbury Street near Boston.
Oh, yes. I do live in downtown Boston, which is great.
So it's an awesome location.
Because your office is in Chelsea, right?
It's in Taunton, so I commute about 2 hours every day, which is not ideal. Again, not everything is going to be perfect, but I kind of chose my career and sacrificed the drive. It's just these trade-offs you kind of have to make. If I got a job in Boston, it probably wouldn't be as great of an opportunity. So you always got to keep in mind, you know, your career is, I think, number one. I always think that. So you kind of do what you have to do.
Any other questions? Good, come on.
Yep. Hi again. Where do you see yourself going next? Like, how much longer do you see yourself working with Tribe, or going in places, or moving up in the company?
Good question.
That's a great question. So it's twofold. I actually recently got a new job offer for a different company that I'm probably going to take, which is exciting. So it would be working for a startup food company closer to the city. So it would be taking all of my skills that I've learned over the past 3 years at Tribe and kind of creating a marketing department for them from the ground up, which is really exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time because a startup doesn't have that great job stability, so it's kind of putting a lot at risk. So I'm probably going to take that job, 90%. We'll kind of see where that goes. After a couple years, I might go back to get my MBA. And then we'll see where that goes from there.
Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing your experiences with us, Mark. It's so important. As I mentioned, you are still the only colored spreadsheet that I have. All my finals. And I always say she made it. She did it. Yeah.
I'm glad. It really honestly helped. And it's really frustrating. I know the job search, it took me almost a year to get a job at Tribe, and you just kind of can never give up and just keep kind of pursuing that angle. Even if it's graduation day and you don't have a job, just keep going. I know it's very stressful, but just put your head down and do it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Take care, kiddo.
Bye.
Bye.
We don't accept it. You know it, so sorry.
Okay. Yep.
Wait, did she say she was a finance major or a marketing?
No, she's a marketing major. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria.
Yes, love. Good for you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
See ya.
Like, I told you about the interview. Yeah, because,
You couldn't get it
Probably the
done.
library.
no, I got it down,
But
like,
we could find you.
yeah, yeah. And probably. Because that's BHM or yeah, it's like,
No.
no, the name of it.
No.
Yeah.
Venture. Venture.
Yeah, it,
It's BHM, it's your one,
but I
but.
clicked the link you gave